Okay, here we go. This is the Space Limited Accomplishments Interval. I am Lance Ash, and with me today, as always, is my wife Bonnie.
Yes, always.
And heading back to work on a Sunday afternoon, having received my second dose of the vaccine on Friday around noon-ish, and I began to suffer the after effects the next day, Saturday morning sometime. But the bulk of the achiness and mopiness went away in a couple of hours, and I had a really good night last night painting. But now I'm feeling kind of, still feeling kind of draggy. Left upper arm hurts where I got the shot. Still stiff and sore, and overall still feel a little sick. But I think if I can tough it out tonight, I'll be all right. I took 3 after the bulk of the soreness and sickness went away. I took 3 Motrin, and then I took another one several hours later. And tonight's my regular night to take Motrin, so I went ahead and took 2. So that should be kicking in about an hour. And but a good weekend. Got a painting done. I think I rushed it a little bit, but oh well. How was your weekend, Bonnie?
Not as productive as I'd wished. Well, I cleaned the porch and painted some chairs and divided some plants and repotted those, and got the grass cut. I did some repairs on the kitchen cabinets and just my usual cooking and cleaning and laundry and shit.
Okay, and today's Mother's Day, and Bonnie got a new wallet for her purse.
Yeah, I bought myself a wallet a couple of weeks ago. Figured that someone wouldn't remember.
Well, I mean, if I had the ability to drive and my own money, I probably would have done something,
You know where the money's kept.
Yeah, but I'm never alone, so.
All you have to do is say, you need to run in here. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah. Speaking of which, related issue, I've been researching old, late 60s, early, mid 70s greeting cards. They used to have this really cartoony illustration style. Also a little hangover from the big-eyed paintings craze of the 60s, 50s and 60s. And looking at all these old vintage cards and things and related materials just fills my head with all kinds of aesthetic inclinations. Reminds me of kindergarten, kind of. Used to get, cards from relatives. When you're little, everybody dotes on you. You turn 5 or 6 and you get a card that says, for a big 5-year-old or whatever, and have a picture of some guy, some little kid with jam smeared around his mouth. Jellyface, our little boy. We had a picture of him with jelly all around his mouth.
He always was an enthusiastic eater. It's so sad now. It's the eating with his ulcerative colitis. It's sad. Someone enjoys eating as much as he does, has to watch what he eats.
Well, maybe if he, I don't know. Maybe it'll go away eventually.
Oh, Brother Lance.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to let any disease stop me from enjoying my food. Oh, mercy. I still feel kind of wonky. Oh, mercy me. I'm just hoping everything goes smoothly tonight. I should be back in form tomorrow. Back on. What's the word I'm looking? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Do you remember that series of party game books called Mad Libs?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Droodles?
Nope.
Okay. Those were put out by a small publishing company called Price Stern Sloan, and they did all kinds of stuff like that. Droodles were like very simple drawings, and then they'd have a punchline. The most famous one is ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch. Are you familiar with that? Okay, well anyway. So they were all part of that thing because greeting card stores would sell this stuff, these books. And I don't know. I want to soak in that whole era. I'm trying to figure out where it all started to go wrong, Bonnie. You know, was it when I became a teenager? Was it when I became obsessed with I don't know, not sex, because I was interested in naked girls from the time I was, I don't know, little, yeah, like 3. Bonnie said 3, yeah, but I didn't know what to do with a naked girl, so, you know. Oh my goodness. We watched some more David Attenborough stuff. I tell you, just to kill some time, because we were just so brain dead this morning. We're having breakfast and trying to come up with something just to watch while we eat. And I suggested those Tony Robinson, digging for Roman coins things. And they're so boring and slow, and I don't know. It really is something just for, I don't know. If you're totally narcotized, that's exactly the kind of thing you want to watch, It's like, oh, wow. They're on day 2, and they've dug another 4 feet in the trench. Wow. You seem a little narcotized yourself today. Are you okay?
I just overdid it outside today. I was bending and stooping and lifting all those pots and all the fill dirt, and the sun just took it out of me.
Yeah, I can't stand doing yard work. I can't stand being outside. Used to like it. Hey, I'll tell you something really cool we watched. We watched that little program on tea around the world.
Yeah, it's okay.
I love tea. I don't know what this American obsession with coffee is, but tea is so superior to coffee. Oh, my arm hurts so bad. Oh, God. I'm wearing the stretchy wrap thing around my elbow. Oh, my God.
Is it the COVID stuff, or?
Well, I lifted weights. But this arm hurts intermittently, off and on every 2 or 3 days. I didn't lift yesterday, so I felt I needed to tonight before I went to work. So I took it slow, but it still messed my elbow up, my whatever the hell you call it, the tendons inside the elbow. I twist it around like this, it stretches it out some. But yeah, this arm is really stiff and sore. I'm hoping all this tea I drank will kick in and I'll be zippy when I get to work. Because everybody expects me to put on a performance when I get there, We depend on Lance to,
Oh, please.
They do. I'm the Iron Man around there.
Your old boss, Tiffany, said, we get along just fine without him. Tell him that it's okay. The job's getting done.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. Oh, my goodness.
What do you think happens when you're not there, dear?
I think that they fumble and fart around, and it'll get done, but it'll get done sloppily and incorrectly.
I need for you to go kill yourself over this stupid fucking job.
Well, maybe.
You have more loyalty to the job than it has to you.
Well, that's true. Huh. Chick waiting for the bus. It makes you wonder what's wrong with her. She looked like the kind that could afford a car or catch a man who would buy a car for her. Wait, what?
Unbelievable. Would you like to walk the rest of the way to work? How about you hitchhike? Why don't you pull up your skirt a little and show some legs, see if you can get a ride. Jesus, Lance.
Oh, mercy. I'm too jaded to pretend that the world isn't the way that it is. Mrs. Hughes used to babysit my sister and me when we were little, and she had must have been two granddaughters, and they were, I must have been about 6, 7, somewhere in there, and they were like 13, okay? So we're sitting in the kitchen, and
Patsy's daughters?
No, Patsy's daughter Suzanne was my age, and I don't know who these two girls were, but anyway, I'm sitting at the kitchen table with them, and I'm telling them about my secret island.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I told them I had two guards that worked for me, and they were like older boys. They were like 16, and they were like, ooh, 16-year-old boys, ooh, yeah. And part of look at this guy with this go-kart thing, the music blaring out of it. Can you imagine getting hit by a truck in that thing? Anyway, but that was like a recurring fantasy with me when I was in 3rd grade, was to have a secret island with a cave, and I would have girls chained up naked to the walls. This was very thrilling for me when I was, 7 years old. Yeah.
Oh God.
I wonder, when our daughter was little.
No, don't tell that story.
Okay, but sometimes I would alter toys to fit some scenario. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many of you out there remember Micronauts, the toys, but I was obsessed with them. I wanted every single item they came out with. There used to be a chain of drugstores called Revco, and there was one up the road from us where CVS is now, and that's where, I don't know, we got a lot of sundries there. I guess that's where we got our prescriptions too, but anyway. So I'm in there one day, and they had comic books, and I'm killing time, and I discovered that Marvel Comics was now putting out a Micronauts comic book, and I was just thrilled with it. And I eventually wound up getting a subscription to it right around the time that the quality went in the toilet, and those toys, I played with them so much that they just fell apart eventually. Did you have favorite toys when you were little?
I had a Pooh Bear and a Tigger and a monkey.
Did you play with them? Did you have elaborate scenarios and have them talk to each other and do stuff?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
I still have those. They're up in the closet.
That's sweet. You get that photograph of yourself when you're little holding the Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently had an imaginary bird cage. My grandmother liked telling that story, how I would say, "Don't sit on my bird cage."
That is so bizarre. That's one of the first things you told me about yourself when we met.
Imaginary bird cages when I was wee.
Yeah.
I would have been about 2 or 3 at that point.
Really? Oh my God. I got one of the old G.I. Joes, the big ones, and I took it to, I might have, I can't remember, I remember opening, I had 2 of them, but I remember opening one of them at my grandparents' house, my mother's parents, for Christmas or something, and my grandfather was just this old alcoholic and pain in the ass, and I remember him griping that boys don't play with dolls. Pathetic.
That could have just as easily been your father's grandfather saying that nonsense, given the way he treated you.
I don't know.
Should have been born a girl?
Yeah, he told the auto parts guy that I should have been born a girl and my sister should have been born the boy. And I thought that was insulting. And
What did the auto parts guy say?
He said something like, he turned from my grandfather to me and he said something like, that wasn't very nice, was it? And I went, no, it wasn't.
Wow. How old were you?
About 18, somewhere in there.
No shit. You were that old?
Yeah, my father had an account there, and he told something went wrong on my car. Maybe I was older than that. Maybe I was 20. No, 19, 20. But I had to change the alternator, and my dad said, go down there and put it on my account. And my grandfather supervised me while I put it in, swapped it out. Do you remember I was doing that on that, I can't remember what car we had when we were married. We hadn't been married about
Ford?
2 years.
You had a little Ford, and you did that on the Ford.
Yeah, and Bobby and Leon came over, and they just happened to be passing by, and they got involved with the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was funny.
My dad used to drag me under the hood all the time. He made a point of making certain that I knew how to do certain things, like change the brake pads and change the oil and how to tension the damn, what do you call those, the bands?
The fan belt?
Belts and stuff. Yeah. And how to gap the spark plugs. Yeah. And how to test the radiator and for leaks and such, and how to change out your hoses, how to change your tire, of course. But your dad was the one who taught me how to plug a tire.
Yeah.
When you had a puncture. So.
Well, when we got married, and I started to make a little better money, I decided I was never going to work on a car again, and we're going to just take it to the mechanic, get the oil changed, whatever needs to be done.
Never looked back.
That's right, because I've been through enough just trying to make something work.
I have a hybrid, and I'm like, I'll look under the hood and I'll go, okay, I generally know where things are, and I might add something like, windshield wiper fluid. I can check the oil, of course.
I will, I'm going to tell a story. Probably this, I had a Lynx, which was the knockoff, the cheaper version of the Escort. And this was, I can't remember what year it would have been, what model. But anyway, the battery went bad, so I couldn't afford a battery, the proper battery. So I put a truck battery in there.
Oh, God.
And it was enormous, and I was afraid of the metal hood making contact with the top of the battery and shorting it out or causing some problems.
So what did you do to help it?
All right, now look, this is what I did. I put a board on top of the battery to protect it from touching the hood. But when I did that, it wasn't the right, it didn't fill the space up enough. So I put an old tennis shoe
God.
High top tennis shoe on top of the board. Now the hood won't close. So I had to get a long piece of string and tie the hood down to the bumper. Okay, now I'm driving in the middle of the night in the winter when it's freezing and everything's iced over. I'm driving up the 45-minute trip from my house up to my girlfriend's house, her family's house up in Carnesville. And it's this lonely stretch of road out through the country. No street lights, nothing, nobody on the road, nothing. And the string broke and the hood flew up in front of the windshield. And I'm blind and trying to stop on an icy road now. So I stopped finally, got out, the board's gone, the shoe's gone. I have to walk back down the road, find the board and the shoe, and put everything back in place and continue my journey. That's why I go to the mechanic now and get things done right.
You idiot. Oh, Lord.
That same stretch of road one time when I was working at McDonald's, I used to drive on empty in the gas tank all the time because I just hated pumping gas and I was too lazy to do it.
Lazy. There's the operative word. Lazy.
So I ran out of gas on that road one night. Or no, maybe I had a flat tire. I can't remember. But anyway, there was a lonely little old-fashioned store back about a mile or so at an intersection. And it had a payphone and a street light. This is in the middle of the night. And I had to walk back down the road to get there and call my dad collect in the middle of the night to come pick me up. And then I had to call McDonald's and tell them I wasn't going to make it in the morning because I was stranded out in the middle of nowhere. And I was terrified I was going to get torn to pieces by dogs out in the middle of nowhere in the dark walking down the road.
Do you remember that old couple in Oglethorpe? They were walking down the road and they got attacked and killed by dogs.
You know, pack of wild dogs.
God.
Do you remember the old guy that was like borderline dementia and he passed out or something and drove off the road and his car was swallowed up in the forest?
He was there over a year. By the time they found him...
It wasn't that long, was it?
Yes, it was. By the time they found him, his whole body had mummified.
Oh my God.
He had his wallet on him, and that's how they knew who it was. They, of course, had the car, too, but my God. And it was right there on a major highway. And he just went right off the highway and into the woods, and they think maybe he had a heart attack or passed out with blood pressure problems or something. And hunters found him over a year later, and the whole thing was sealed, and so he had completely dried up.
Yeah, that's how I want to die.
No.
All right, we've come to the end of the episode. Anything else to add?
No.
All right.
3 minutes later.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.